I love what Brett Baer has taken to say on Fox News at the end of every one of his broadcasts. Remember, I told you a week or two ago that my producer had some great advice about all of us who are in the thick of this. Many of us far worse than others. Some of us faring pretty well. If you are not, our heart is with you. There's a lot of people going through some terrible, terrible challenges right now. A lot of Americans impacted. The jobs report was just announced on the non-farm payrolls dropped by 701,000 in March. It's the first decline in payrolls since September of 2010. And it came close to the May 2009 financial peak of 800,000. But believe me, the next report will be worse. There are some economists who predict an unemployment rate of up to 32%, which would be brutal, especially with when you consider how well it had been going. We're going to come back, and we're going to bounce back, and there is lots of reason for cautious optimism. So Brett Baer has developed a unique sign-off for these coronavirus times. And I've become very fond of it. Let me share it with you.
Now, Sir Winston Churchill once said, if you're going through hell, keep going. I'll end this show with an adjustment to that. As the sun sets tonight, we are one day closer to putting this all behind us. We're all in this together.
I like that. I like that a lot. And as we made it to Friday, and then we're going to make it to Saturday, we're going to make it to Sunday. Before you know it, it'll be mid-April. It'll be end of April. We're going to get closer to putting this thing behind us. It's been a very, very tough siege. And yet, something we've been talking about for many weeks continues to inspire confidence and hope around the world. It's this anti-malaria drug. More and more reports. In fact, even a global polling of doctors favor this drug, this anti-malaria drug. It's inexpensive. It's easy to get, apparently. Of course, there are concerns about hoarding it, but this hydroxychloroquine seems to be having incredible impact and success. An international poll of over 6,000 doctors that was released yesterday found that this anti-malarial drug hydroxychloroquine was the most highly rated treatment for the novel coronavirus. Tragically, it became a political football because the president touted its possibility early and people decided they weren't going to support anything he supports, which is as sick as it gets. Maybe not quite as sick as the news that Nancy Pelosi is now launching committees and investigations with subpoena power to investigate the Trump administration's response to coronavirus. She's doing that now. We're in the thick of this. We're trying to figure out whether to wear masks or not. And here's some breaking news. The White House is expected to recommend that everyone wear face masks in public. Now, I'll guarantee you what my first question is. Where in the world do you get an order of face masks? If you can't get Lysol, where are you going to get a face mask? Now, the good news is there are millions of women and probably plenty of men who know how to sew and sew well. I've got some friends who are sewing masks for hospital workers and their friends. They're setting up little businesses. Maybe this is where the entrepreneurial spirit kicks in, because you might not be able to make Lysol or Purell, although I guess there is a homemade way to make Purell, but the big brand, recognizable brand names, you might not be able to make cans of Lysol out of your kitchen, but you can sew masks. And if the White House is about to say that everybody in public should be wearing a mask to help contain this thing, wow, well, that's going to be a whole new world we're going to be in, isn't it? Tons of debate about these stay-at-home orders. Mandatory. Yeah, but what does that mean? Well, where can I go? Is going to Hobby Lobby essential? Hobby Lobby says they're essential. The government says they're not. They want to shut them down. Can you go to church? Yeah, in Florida, you can go to church, try to socially distance, but we're not going to shut you down. What about the liquor stores? Oh, they're open. They're open. I don't think there's a liquor store in America that is closed down because, got to have our booze. And I'm not saying any of this with any judgment. It's just so erratic. It's so inconsistent. South Carolina, the boat ramps are closed. But not the private boat ramps, just the public boat ramps. And, I had a legislator there through somebody I'm close to, Joey Hudson, explain they're just doing this stuff to discourage people from mingling and congregating and getting close to each other. The beach that I overlook in Florida, it's closed. There's plenty of people on the beach. They don't enforce it. Well, but you're allowed to be on the hard sand, but not the soft sand. And you can walk people are going for a walk. So, and yet, out of California, some paddle surfer gets hauled off to jail in Malibu. Lifeguards called the cops. Somebody out in the middle of the water by himself gets slapped in handcuffs and arrested. You're supposed to have the safer at home. Now, I don't know about you. Safer at home doesn't quite sound like stay at home. Safer at home seems to mean to me, correct me if I'm wrong, that if you want to go out in the middle of the ocean by yourself on a paddleboard, how can they arrest you for that? And yet reportedly that happened. Hobby Lobby. Well, the government says they're not essential. Yet Hobby Lobby is a place that sells material for, making masks. If you're Target, you're wide open. Walmart, no problem, because they got food. They got the grocery side, and then while you're there, you can, buy a sweater like the one I'm wearing today. If you're watching on the video stream, if you're on our YouTube channel, look for the Mike Gallagher Show YouTube channel, and you want to check out and make snarky remarks about my kitchen never being used. It's not, because I never cook. Have lost 22.5 pounds, though, since kind of the beginning of all this mess. So I'm on the exercise bike, and I'm doing my part, trying to get healthy and stay fit. Anyway, just a lot of questions. You want to dive in on the what's essential and what's not right now? Can we start that? Can we start with there? Are liquor stores essential? Is a bottle of wine an essential product? What does that use against coronavirus? Can you go out on the boat by yourself and not bother anybody in South Carolina? Why would you close a boat ramp? And incidentally, once again, let me make sure we're clear here. According to what I've heard in South Carolina, kids were gathering on the boat ramps. Well, here's what I don't understand. Enforce that behavior, but don't punish the lone boater who wants to go out on the boat on a lake in South Carolina by himself. Is there any more perfect example of social distancing than being alone on a lake in South Carolina? Why would Governor McMaster close the boat ramps? So again, all these questions, maybe you've got some answers here in the ReliefFactor.com mobile studios. If so, even if not, I hope you join us, because I love hearing your voice as I'm staying at home in my kitchen, bringing you yet another episode of the Mike Gallagher Show. 1-800-655-MIKE. Yeah, let's a really good idea. Somebody just said, what a great idea. Let's lock up people on a paddleboard off the coast of California. Put people like that in jail to expose that person to coronavirus or others. Yeah, we're some of us are not using our heads. There's not a lot of common sense going on these days. But that's what you and I are here to do. We're going to straighten everybody out. 1-800-655-MIKE. Press 1 to come on air with us. Press 2 to leave a voicemail message. You're always welcome to text us a message at the MyPillow text line, which is also 800-655-6453. And as everybody's pointing out, state of Pennsylvania, liquor stores are closed. So not every state is leaving the liquor stores open. Let's get your reaction to all of it, your voice, your perspective, coming up here on the Mike Gallagher Show.